Good Saturday morning, everyone. I'm 10 Tampa Bay meteorologist James Gregorio with this latest version show of the Weather Impact live broadcast. So again, thanks for joining us. I'm 10 Tampa Bay meteorologist James Gregorio. It is a gorgeous day outside here. Tons of sunshine. Let's check out some cameras here as we make our way towards Tampa and in towards St. Pete and Clearwater as well. What a gorgeous stretch we have shaping up. 73 degrees right now in Tampa. St. Pete, we're in the upper 60s, so a little bit cooler there. There's so many events going on this weekend. It is a fantastic go. Clearwater looking great as well. So that sea fog that we've dealt with and contended with over the last couple mornings, as well as the foggier conditions, that has since dissipated. All right, current winds anywhere from 4 to about 5 miles an hour. Winds for the most part on the lighter side and sort of variable here. An easterly wind early. So far this morning, east to north. Tampa's got a really light north wind at 3, Zephyr Hills at about 8. But Brooksville, the wind is out of the east for you. Crystal River, east-southeast, and Port Richey. But great boating if you're going to be out on our local waterways. All right, satellite and radar picture kind of telling the tale. That line of showers and storms in and around the Dallas area will begin working its way towards us. So this is going to be the main focus for us over the next, 24 hours or so. That line of showers and storms is essentially going to work its way towards the Tampa area, moving in towards the west coast of Florida. So this really takes shape as we roll through later today and in towards tomorrow, as well as that band of rain and even some storms. Looks fairly healthy right now in through portions of central Texas and certainly West Texas as well. So let's time it all out for you. Future cast here as we head in towards tomorrow. We're still okay at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock or so in the evening, afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it this time of year. Feels like 5 o'clock should be early evening, late afternoon. Sun goes down 6:20-ish. So yeah, you could decide. All right, so as we head in towards 7:30 or so, you can see there it is. There's the front edge of this right around Hudson as we make our way to coastal Pasco County. Essentially, that line of rain will continue moving a little further to the south as well. Let me zip back here for just a second. So, by midnight, 1 in the morning, that line continues to push a little further southward. So if you are going to go, in fact, even to the Daytona 500, you've got that line of rain in place as well early in the morning. But I want to bring you to about 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow night. And there it is. So it's sort of go time, for Tampa, for South Tampa, for MacDill, getting in towards St. Pete and Tierra Verde and points to the south. You can see that line of showers move through and then kind of clearing Sarasota and Port Charlotte and on its way to kind of Punta Gorda by 2 or 3 in the morning, and then essentially moving out of here as well. Severe weather outlook looks like this. Marginal severe weather risk shaded in the light green coloring. You can see that. Scattered storms would be our greatest threat. Gusty winds shaded in yellow as well. And that just clips portions of Citrus County. You can see essentially just clipping portions of Citrus County as we make our way in towards the kind of the back edge of that, right in there, just clipping portions of Citrus. So as you make your way up towards the Nature Coast, there is, in fact, that line of, the delineation between level 2 and level 1. Now, moving south of Crystal River in towards Pasco County, Hernando and Pasco, it is essentially level 1 risk. That is a marginal risk, level 1 right in there. Level 2 is a slight risk. I know the naming of these drives me crazy because I think, me personally, that slight would be less than marginal, but that's not the way the Severe Storm Forecast Center does it. So they go marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate, and then high. So again, these chances are low for severe weather, but they're not zero. They are there, certainly. So just something to keep in mind. Be mindful, tomorrow's Sunday. But the good news is most of this happens at the earliest 7 p.m. or, 7:30, 8 o'clock. So the good news is it's later in the day. So not too many of us will be outside. So certainly a step, kind of favorable there on the timing, step in the right direction. However, we do have a weather impact alert in place As we move in towards tomorrow, 5 o'clock to about 10 o'clock, the alert's in place for rain and some storms. We could get an inch of rain by the time we're all said and done. The risk for an isolated severe storm is there as well. It is just a risk. Again, not likely, but the possibility is there. You do want to download the 10 Tampa Bay app. You know, it's like having a computer in your pocket. It's a great, useful tool. Make sure you have the alerts turned on. And should we get any severe weather warnings, you would certainly get that information. And you'll have access to real-time radar anyway. All right, so let's pivot back to the gorgeous stuff that we have here today. And we're talking about highs today climbing into the 70s. Bartow at 74, Wauchula and Riverview at about 74 as well. Tampa, you've got 73. So currently, and we're going to see these temperatures warm from here. Highs today will climb into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. The Gulf is still a little chilly, but all in all, boy, what a gorgeous day and gorgeous weather outside your door right now. So just shaping up really, really well, and just some gorgeous weather lingering. All right, so and again, we're going to roll through Futurecast here from today, from dinner time. It's Valentine's Day, so you want something cool to do with your Valentine here. 75 degrees at 5 o'clock, so you totally can go out to dinner, sit, you know, outside, Channel Side, Sparkman's Wharf, South Tampa, what have you. Beautiful evening for that. Still on the warm side, you know, maybe a light little breeze, southwest at 4. At 7:30. So if you're sitting outside or perhaps, you know, up in, northern Tampa or elsewhere, maybe you're up in Pasco or Hernando County, great evening, or maybe in Paso Grill or, you know, down in towards St. Pete. Just fantastic here. So by 9:30, 10 o'clock, still on the warmer side, still in the upper 60s here. So we're shaping up pretty well. And then as we head into the overnight hours, still pretty mild. You see a slight little uptick in cloudiness, as well as that southerly wind is still with us early tomorrow morning. So on the humid side, but all in all, on the nice side as well. And then as we head in towards, Sunday afternoon, we start to go downhill a little bit. 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock, and then you could see that line, at least the latest run here of model guidance. The leading edge of that shower and storm threat is still in Pasco County at 8:30 at night. So not really clearing the area until at least 10, clearing Hillsborough and Pinellas counties, probably until 10:30. And then down into Sarasota and Manatee County once again, before midnight. The good news is by 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, long gone on President's Day, 8 o'clock in the morning, still dealing with few clouds, particularly from, let's say, the Skyway Bridge north. So if you're heading up towards Pasco and Hernando and Citrus counties, you've got more cloudiness. You, in fact, have a few more clouds in Hillsborough than you do in Pinellas counties as well. So again, that cloud deck will break up and will continue to break up as we head towards Polk County, heading in towards Winter Haven and Lakeland. That cloud deck, trying to break up as well, and finally does, certainly throughout the afternoon hours. So on Monday, President's Day, you're going to deal with more clouds earlier in the day than what you will later Monday afternoon and in towards Monday evening before we continue to clear things out a little bit more so. So expected rainfall. There it is, about 50% coverage on Sunday. On Monday, about 30%. And then as we move in towards Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I think we're on the drier side. Thursday still a little questionable, maybe getting another frontal boundary in here. So we'll see if we need to fine tune that. But we do have that weather impact alert in place for tomorrow from 5 p.m. to about 11 p.m. as well. So just something to be aware of. That's more than likely going to be go time. But I think if I had to narrow that window down, it would be more from 7 to maybe 10 o'clock. The early fringes of that, as well as the latter portion of that, as you get closer to 11, not really as significant as the heart of that window. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're getting another check of the forecast here. We'll talk about the pattern and what you can expect going forward over the next few days. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This autumn, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Save up to 20% during California Closet's Autumn Upgrade event, making it easier than ever to transform your space with our select finishes. Whether it's a walk-in closet, home office, pantry, or garage, our designs are about more than organization. They're about creating space for what belongs. We call it practical magic, expert design that feels effortless. Visit one of our 3 Tampa Bay showrooms or schedule your complimentary consultation today at CaliforniaClosetsTampaBay.com.
With a fresh new look and over 60 years of keeping Floridians comfortable, Cool Today is the name to trust for fast same-day service. Cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Our friendly expert technicians take the hassle out of home repair today. And Cool Today is here for you tomorrow, too. That's why we're introducing a parts and labor warranty on select AC systems for a lifetime. For cooling, plumbing, or electrical service, get the best from today and for years to come. Cool Today.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. You need quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
I was driving when a Ford pickup truck barreled into me from behind, sending me to the hospital.
I knew my husband was going to need an excellent attorney, so I called Dan Newland.
I'm so glad my wife called Dan. Dan really fought for me. He won my case and got me $650,000.
If you've been involved in a car accident, allow me to fight for you. Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Thanks, Dan, for winning my husband's case.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Here, let's take another live look outside. Tons of sunshine as we make our way from downtown Tampa to St. Pete, looking fantastic as well. TPA looking great here as you head up towards Dale Mabry and International Plaza, looking fantastic. Armature Works, Sarasota, and Clearwater, all looking good. Tons of sunshine. That Clearwater cam looks pretty good. Looks like there's a fair number of people on the beach as well. So a lot going on in the Bay Area this weekend. A lot going on in Florida. We've got the Daytona 500. So a lot of events, a lot of big events happening as well. All right, marine forecast. If perhaps the events is not your thing, we're talking about a marine forecast which is fantastic here. Light little chop on the bay. Seas are about a foot on the Gulf, and we've gotten rid of the sea fog. So if you're venturing out into our local waterways, I think it shapes up really well. Gulf temperature, a little chilly, upper 50s, so that has been all over the road. I think I've seen it as warm as 63 or so over the last couple of days. Not quite sure why maybe that southerly wind kind of blew away the warm water, a little bit of upwelling perhaps. All right, so the pattern change is on the way. So, the West has been really warm this season, and now it's their turn to get a little cool down. So as we head in towards, I'm just kind of drawing where the warmer air is, and it's sort of certainly peaking here into the plain states, and you can see it kind of funneling up out of the Gulf of Mexico by tomorrow. So that warm air moves through Kansas, Nebraska, up towards South and North Dakota, and Montana, again, right on the fringe of that. But that also includes Denver. It also includes most of Utah. And it has just been a horrible ski season out west. And record warmth in the west this year, record cold, or at least, colder than the last couple decades in the east. So cold in the east, warmth in the west. The nation's midsection has sort of been that battleground. Been really warm in the plain states as well, into, Kansas and Oklahoma, and into, Nebraska as well. And then that warmth, especially by Tuesday, kind of hanging out in through portions of, Oklahoma and Kansas here. There you go. So that warmth really kind of hanging out there. So, and not moving a whole lot. The ridge sort of collapses a little bit as we head in towards Wednesday. You could see that scenario here. So, the cooler air at least tries pushing further southward. In fact, look at that. The first real shot of some Arctic air making it in towards Montana, moving out of southern Canada, dropping further southward as warm air finally shifts further off to the east. So moving over the Appalachians, moving over the Mississippi River, moving into Virginia, North and South Carolina as well. You can see that warm air sliding eastward and the cold air dipping further southward here. So you can see that cold air dipping through Montana, the warm air sliding off to the east here through Missouri, the upper Midwest, and in through portions of Virginia as well. So, and then finally, more of a zonal flow here, essentially sort of a west to east, kind of pattern here. Essentially, the warm air is where it should be, down here over the Gulf, warm, and then cold up as we head towards, the northern heights here, if you will, the northern states, as we head up towards Montana and up towards Wisconsin and in through sections of Illinois, southern Canada. That's the cold. And in the middle, right in here, is sort of the moderate, temperatures. And yes, some chilly air, but, finally, no big dips or rips or basically bulges of warm air and troughs of low pressure. So this is next Saturday, the 21st. So very, very sort of status quo. How dare I say, kind of normal over most of the lower 48. However, it looks like by Sunday, the 22nd, we start to get some cooler air that's moving further southward. I think we're still okay here in Florida, and essentially that cooler air dives, down the Mississippi River, down the Appalachians, and Arctic air, moves in towards International Falls and moves into Minneapolis as we head in towards Sunday. And then look at that dive. Let me get rid of this last illustration. Look what reemerges here by the 23rd of the month. That Arctic air doing what it's done so many times this winter. The cold Arctic air spilling further southward through Canada and in towards Ohio, into the Ohio Valley, into western PA, into Pittsburgh. And on the other side of that, you've got a big ridge of high pressure, again, which has been anchored out here, putting the kibosh on snow potential for Colorado, for Utah, for Montana. Look at all that warm air, basically even surging into southern Canada as well. And that dome continues to remain there. Again, that ridge is just, unstoppable as we head in towards the end of the month, into the 24th, something like that. So big area of high pressure out here, forcing the jet stream up and over and then down, into the trough here, and that Arctic air can just move on the other side of the area of high pressure of the ridge and descend through Canada all the way into PA, further southward into Virginia, and even into North Carolina. So the Outer Banks, Raleigh-Durham, even towards Charlotte, has had a pretty tough cold winter as well. So that cold air, once it kind of does its thing, has really done its thing here this season and really permeated far south in through chunks of the Carolinas and points of the south as well. All right, so if you're traveling here Monday, we're looking okay. There's some speculation that, maybe there's some snow moving in towards portions of the Northeast here. Let me zip back on Sunday evening, so as we head in towards, let me zip back there. There we go. This is Sunday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. As we head in towards 1 p.m., there it is. Rain for most, and then we'll see if it ticks up with a little bit of snow, in through New Jersey, in through the Delaware Valley, the Lehigh Valley, the Susquehanna Valley of Pennsylvania. So, and that rain snow line looks like it's right over my house in Jersey. Fantastic. Would love some more ice and some sleet. Said no one ever. And then as we move into the overnight hours, Sunday into Monday, there it is. So it might hover a little bit Monday morning. Again, this is a couple days away at least. And then that band of rain moves on out of here. Same association with the front that moves through Florida as well. So again, Washington, D.C. about 41 Tuesday morning. Syracuse at about 38. So at least it moderates a little bit. There is some snow out to the west. We're going to run through this for the snow potential because, as mentioned, it has been pretty horrible in the Four Corners region. All right, we're going to talk about this a little bit more so, as well as a look at your 7-day forecast when we come back on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
This autumn, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Save up to 20% during California Closet's Autumn Upgrade event, making it easier than ever to transform your space with our select finishes. Whether it's a walk-in closet, home office, pantry, or garage, our designs are about more than organization. They're about creating space for what belongs. We call it practical magic, expert design that feels effortless. Visit one of our 3 Tampa Bay showrooms or schedule your complimentary consultation today at CaliforniaClosetsTampaBay.com.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called attorney Dan Newton. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
With a fresh new look and over 60 years of keeping Floridians comfortable, Cool Today is the name to trust for fast same-day service. Cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Our friendly expert technicians take the hassle out of home repair today. And Cool Today is here for you tomorrow, too. That's why we're introducing a parts and labor warranty on select AC systems for a lifetime. For cooling, plumbing, or electrical service, get the best from today and for years to come. Cool Today.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
With players just like you.
Paramedic, retired teacher, psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh, no.
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh, wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy!
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30, right here on 10 Tampa Bay.
All right, everyone, welcome back. I am 10 Tampa Bay meteorologist James Gregorio. Got a few minutes left here on our Weather Impact live show. Thanks for joining me today on your Saturday. Taking a few minutes out of your busy day, talking about everything and everything, weather, not only here, but all across the nation. Speaking of which, let's head to that bigger storm affecting a good chunk of the eastern seaboard. Now, this is tomorrow afternoon. However, we're on the tail end of this. So at 1 o'clock, we're not going to see rain in the Tampa area as we move in towards, wow, that's a big jump. So bear with me here while I take you back just a little bit here. Let's put some pauses in here. So, yeah, that's kind of a big jump here. So as we move in towards 4 o'clock, you can see it tomorrow. This particular model wants to bring in rain that early. That's not happening. So, we're going to see the rain probably by 6 or 7. You can see that band of rain trying to move through. But on the northern extent of that, there could be a little snow in through Pennsylvania, in through northern and central New Jersey, and that could linger in towards 2 o'clock or so. And then by 6 a.m. tomorrow, kind of moving on out of here. So if you're traveling tomorrow, it is President's Day, so maybe you're not. But if you're a business traveler, keep in mind you may have to deal and contend with that. All right, so by 10 o'clock here Monday morning, you can see that line of showers and storms moving further off to the east. But we finally start to see some snow brewing and developing on Tuesday. There is that batch of snow in through sections of Idaho, a little further off to the west, in towards Nevada and California as well. So good news there. Finally, more snow for the Sierra, and also some snow into the Rockies and the Wasatch as well. So getting it into Utah and in through portions of Idaho, as we head in towards Wednesday morning, still dealing with some snow over Salt Lake. That'd be fantastic. That snow moves in towards Montana as we head in towards, Tuesday overnight, and then starts to slide a little further eastward in towards Nebraska a Thursday evening, and sort of a quasi clipper system that kind of clips its way into Minneapolis and then sort of breaks apart another frontal boundary next weekend, gearing up for a good chunk of the East Coast. You can see the rain stretching from Washington, D.C. That's 6 a.m. Saturday morning. and it's 55 degrees in D.C., 68 in Atlanta. So finally, a nice little warm up there as well. All right, so temperatures, we're going to see our temperatures notch back a little bit on Monday. I think that's 72, might be a tad on the low side. I think it's probably more like 74. And then as we move into a good chunk of next week, look at those temperatures as we head into next weekend. Again, well into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. The normal average high temperature this time of year about 74. So we're above that. But notice after next weekend, we get back to about average with those temperatures essentially in the mid 70s as well. So your forecast, pardon me, about 80 degrees going to do it today. Lovely sunshine on your Valentine's. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I should say the Valentine's Day edition of Weather Impact Live. And then tonight, dipping down to 62. So if you've got plans, if you're heading out, great evening. That 62 is the overnight low temperature. So if you're going out at 7 or 8, it is actually going to be closer to 70 than 62. If you're going to be out late, well, you'll be closer to 62. Tomorrow, springboarding off that 62 degrees, we're going to see highs climbing well into the 70s, increasing clouds and rain moving in shortly after dinner. The further north you are, your chances of rain are earlier. So if you're in Brooksville or in towards, Hernando counties, you've got that rain a little sooner. By Sunday, there it is. There's our weather impact alert from 5 to 11 p.m. Most of next week looking fantastic. So good looking stretch.